Today's review is sponsored by Stumpy's Petting Zoo, the new petting zoo for thrill seekers, where you can pet alligators, lions, tigers, anything that likes to fight back. Stumpy's Petting Zoo, where you can pet the animals and feed them at the same time. Not responsible for loss of limbs.
Watch it, Alan, I'm shooting.
Frankenhooker.
Where are they? Where are the perfect ones? Oh. Just stand there. How the hell did that get in there?
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you one of the greatest masterpieces of schlock ever put on film, directed by my favorite horror director, Frank Henenlotter. I'm one of those people who thinks just because a movie is schlocky doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that the filmmaker had a small budget and had to work with what they had. In many cases, you could say that the original Evil Dead is schlock, with its cheaper effects and smaller budget. We can all admit that the practical effects in the original Evil Dead aren't the most convincing, but Sam Raimi was able to work with what little he had to make one of the most loved horror movies of the 80s. That's what Frank Henenlotter did with all of his films, and for me, Frankenhooker is a masterpiece.
You looking for some action?
Hey, get your hands off me, babe!
Frankenhooker opens with a family barbecue. Full-time electrician and part-time amateur mad scientist Jeffrey Franken, yeah that's right, is kinda celebrating his fiancée Elizabeth's father's birthday. Jeffrey is this awkward guy who's been kicked out of numerous medical schools due to his batshit crazy experiments.
Got it? Follow my hand. We're in sync now. Now we're cooking. That's it. That's it? That's right. Fingers up. Jeffrey?
Elizabeth is this kind-hearted young woman who's self-conscious about her weight problem. Her and Jeffrey seem very happy together, and they're going to get married. But tragedy strikes due to a remote-controlled lawnmower invented by Jeffrey.
So when you want it to go, you just press this.
You're on UHF! Don't stand in front of it!
So yeah, right away we know we're in for something wacky, and I'm here for it with a big smile on my face. But this is only the first 5 minutes of the movie. It gets better. Jeffrey manages to get a hold of Elizabeth's head and a couple scraps. He plans to bring her back to life using his estrogen-based blood serum that he's been working on. The problem is Elizabeth needs a new body because lawnmower. So he goes out to find hookers.
Very nice. Oh, there's something very interesting. Oh, I think this is it. This could be the block.
He sets out to find perfect body parts from prostitutes so he can create the perfect girlfriend. And it gets fucking crazy. What we have here is a cartoon. A live-action cartoon. It starts out silly, but a little more subdued, and it gets crazier and crazier as the movie goes on. Jeffrey Franken is this awkward, mumbling nutjob. He's played by James Lorinz, and he does some fantastic mumble acting.
The key to this whole thing is relaxation. Relax, calm down, and relax. I can't relax. Gotta get radical here.
It's his quirky awkwardness that makes the character so much fun. He's almost on the level of Herbert West from Reanimator. Almost. The two characters are very similar. Both have a serum that brings people back from the dead. Both are delightfully weird, and I don't really consider either one of them a villain. They exist in this gray area. They both have good intentions, but they both go about it in highly questionable ways.
Now, he interrupted an important experiment in progress. Granted, it was an accident, but this is the freshest body that we could come across, save of killing one ourselves, and every moment that we spent talking about it cost us results. Now, will you give me a hand?
Jeffrey Franken is a little more regretful for his actions, but I wouldn't call him a good person. He wants to bring Elizabeth back more for himself than for her. He wants to give her this perfect, sexy body more for his enjoyment than for Elizabeth. I'm not going to pretend that Frank Henenlotter was trying to make some deep commentary with this movie. He was just trying to make a fun, sleazy exploitation horror movie, which is exactly what this is, but it does have some interesting commentary, even though it was unintentional.
This isn't my hand. These aren't my legs. This isn't my breast. Look at me. What have you done?
Now, how does Jeffrey get these hooker parts? He throws a hooker party. He goes to this huge Ripley pimp named Zorro. In a way, Zorro is the real villain of this movie, but only by circumstance.
You want the best, you gotta pay.
Well, you know, I'm sure we can agree on a price.
Yeah, let's talk business, my friend.
It's clever how Jeffrey gets these body parts. He throws this party with some of Zorro's girls, and during this party he's looking the women over, trying to find the perfect body. And he's dressed in his doctor getup, just doing all these medical examinations, and the women are fine with it because they just think that's his kink. But he doesn't want to kill them by his own hands, so he creates super crack.
Oh, if you weren't a guinea pig, I'd jump in that cage myself. Yes. Well, you know the moves. Those moves are $1,000 moves. Now, take a nice, deep breath.
His logic is these women are already addicted to crack, which is going to kill them eventually. He's just speeding up the process. Which brings us to the kills. The wonderfully cartoony kills. When making Frankenhooker, Frank Henenlotter knew he was going to have a lot of nudity in this flick, so he took the blood out of the kills to try and get an R rating instead of an X or an NC-17. That did not work. He goes into more detail about this in the Basket Case Trilogy documentary. Highly recommend checking that out. It's a very good documentary. Goes into a lot of detail about the Basket Case Trilogy and has this nice little segment for Frankenhooker. Anyway, the way people die in this movie is they explode. Yeah, people blow up in this movie. These prostitutes take the super crack and they all start exploding one by one. And they're not gory bodily explosions. They are cartoony because Frank Henenlotter wanted to get an R rating. But yeah, these are very cartoony bodily explosions. It's like these people have turned into human fireworks. But I'm just gonna say this. The scene where all the hookers explode, it's one of the greatest moments in cinema. And then, there's the scene stealer herself, the Frankenhooker, played by Patty Mullen.
Got any money?
Money? No, I don't have any money.
It takes a while to get to the Frankenhooker. She doesn't appear until the third act, but we don't care because this movie has been so much fun up until this point. This isn't a slow burn. There's always something entertaining to watch. Frankenhooker has a great design. Purple hair, purple outfit, fishnet stockings, body parts stitched together. Her head is white while the rest of her body is skin tones of various prostitutes. Her head twitches back and forth throughout the movie. I think this was a tribute to Bride of Frankenstein. In that movie, the bride twitched her head back and forth in a similar way. But of course, as would be the case, her new body is made up of different body parts from various prostitutes, so they take over her brain.
Jersey boy here wants a twosome. Lonely? Need some company? Going Want a date? Party!
Patty Mullen gives such a fun performance. Everyone's funny in this movie, but they're all grounded in some form of reality. Frankenhooker, aka Elizabeth, gives this over-the-top performance, going up and down the streets yelling, "Need some action? Want a date?" She has these facial twitches, her physical acting is great. She moves around like a body that has been stitched together. She truly steals the whole show.
Hey girls, listen up. This here's Jersey Boy, Dr. Jersey Boy, but you can call him Jeffrey. Zorro told you all about Jeffrey. It's his party and he wants to play doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Patty Mullen did not appear in too many movies. She appeared in Doom Asylum and Frankenhooker. That's pretty much it. And that's a shame. She's a fun actress. I wish she appeared in more movies. I could see her becoming a B-movie scream queen. She is to me and my fellow Frankenhooker fans. The way Frankenhooker kills people is unintentional. Her being a prostitute, men come up to her to pay her for sex. And when they have sex with her, they explode. That's a big theme of this movie. Explosions.
All right.
It's a funny twist on the sex equals death cliché in the horror genre. In here, it's the sex that literally kills you. But what a way to go, huh? In the movie Teeth, this woman had teeth in her vagina. This vagina makes you go kaboom! In a bad way.
Oh, that was wonderful.
I absolutely adore Frankenhooker. It's so much fun. Full of low-budget charm, sleazy and dirty in the best ways. It's just so entertaining. I showed a couple friends this movie and they loved it. And I recommend you do the same. Get some friends together and watch one of the greatest cult movies ever made. And with that, let's get to the Grindhouse rankings. We've got a body count of 16, but that includes people who died and came back. The kills mostly consist of exploding bodies, either because of supercrack or deadly sex. There is a ton of nudity in this flick. We've got ass and we've got breasts. A whole pile of breasts. Literally. The practical effects have a slight cheapness to them, but a charming cheapness. You can tell there was effort put into this movie with little resources. All the side characters are fun, everyone gives a good performance, but the Frankenhooker steals the whole show. Her performance is just a blast. The kills aren't gory, but they're still memorable and over the top. Exploding bodies, that's all I have to say. And the ending is amazing. I won't spoil it here, but it's one hell of a climax. I'm giving Frankenhooker a 4.9 out of 5. I don't care what anyone says. I love this movie. It's just so much fun. As always, I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch and support this channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what horror movies you think make for a fun movie night with friends. This is the Maniac, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. I never look down on prostitutes, mainly because I prostitute myself on this channel all the time.